Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in the heart of Las Cruces. Another beautiful Sunday morning. So wonderful to be together to see you all. I invite you to stand. We're going to start with a couple of songs. I'm Sarah, and this is Doug, and here we go.
God is all there is, and I am one with God. God is all there is, and I am one with God. My heart is open to the full expression of that life living me. God is all there is, and I am one with God. God is all there is, and I am one with God. God is all there is, and I am one with God. My heart is open to the full expression of that life living me. God is all there is, and I am one with God. Is I am, and so it is. Hello, it's great to see you. Hey friend, you're not alone. Come in, our hearts are open. Welcome home. Come on, the Spirit's moving. Our love is here to grow. Wake up, our coffee's brewing. Welcome home. This is my place. This is your place. This is our place. Welcome home. Hello, it's great to see you. Hey friend, you're not alone. Come in, our hearts are open. Welcome home. Come on, the Spirit's moving. Our love is here to grow. Wake up, our coffee's brewing. Welcome home. Welcome home. Welcome home. Hey!
Well, what an awesome group on a Labor Day weekend where we could all be somewhere else. So congratulations. Plus, we're going to be here to watch this fun storm, so that is cool. I'm Judy Hunt, your practitioner today, and I welcome you to, it says I'm Yvette Trevino, but don't you kid yourself. Here you are at the Center for Spiritual Living in the heart of Las Cruces. And we are much more than a Sunday service. We're a growing, heart-centered community grounded in spiritual principles and open-hearted love. Our vision is a world in loving partnership for the good of all. And that begins right here with how we show up for each other. If you're here for the first time, welcome. We are so glad you found us. People have so many ways of finding us. It's interesting. We have wonderful little visitor packets outside in the social hall, and you'll find a place there to sign up for our newsletter, which will tell you all of the stuff that's going on here and on into the future. And I'll just give you a touch of it, but so be sure and read your newsletter in the email. And to those joining us online, good morning. So glad you're here. And the YouTubers later, welcome. It's an honor to share this space with you as well. There's so much goodness unfolding here. Part of it is the CSL Pride on the Plaza. That is, a big thank you to everyone who joined our Crochet Your Heart Away event. There was so much laughter and joy. That was because only 2 people in the group knew how to crochet. So Lisa and I are here to tell you it's not as easy as it looks. You know, people just go, no. So, but we sure had a good time. So I think they're going to do it again because it turns out you can't teach that in one setting. And we proved it to her. So there's lots of things that we'll need help with on that Pride. I think it's October 7, isn't that right? So there's a sign-up sheet, October 4. It's outside in the social hall as well. And there's a community dance. Holy cow, you know how I love dances. Summer may be winding down, but the music is just heating up. On Friday, September 26th, from 6 to 8:30 p.m. It's really mellow. I did it last time, and it was a hoot. And I dance with my walking stick, okay? So anybody can do this. Just want you to know. We're not in junior high. It doesn't matter what your moves are anymore. Just enjoy the music. So that is on September 26th, 6 to 8:30. Bring a snack to share. Of course, your dancing shoes, and it'll be great. I'll be there. And we want to take a moment to surround our dear friend, Waithira Kanuthia. I think a lot of you know her. Her daughter passed this summer, and her daughter Maisha has recently made her transition. And a memorial service will be held for Maisha on Thursday, September 12. Did I say Thursday? We don't do them on Thursday. Friday, September 12. Actually my page says Thursday. Okay. That's so. September 12 at 6 p.m., and it's being held at Oregon Mountain High School, where she went to high school. So, and that is formerly Onyate, in case you haven't followed that. And hold Waithira in your prayer and her family. And if you feel called, please join us in showing love and presence at the service. And there will be more details in the newsletter this coming Thursday. So here at the Center for Spiritual Living, we believe in the power of prayer. It's really what we do and who we are. And we call it spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer. And if there's something on your heart today, we invite you to fill out a prayer request card. It's in the back of the seats in front of you. And there are also gratitude cards for a way that God is expressing in your life. And we have a wonderful prayer group of ministers and practitioners that meet every week and pray with you on your concerns. So we'd love to do that. And also, everyone, I'm not going to say everyone in turquoise because it's just the people with the turquoise stoles. We're not going to require the people in turquoise to step up. But we are here for you, a quick prayer treatment. Just if you're carrying something that you could just let go of and have a better Sunday, a better week. So please use us. We love it. So now it is time for song, silence, and prayer. Oops, I forgot one. Sharon Brie thanks us so much for all the food that Karen Boyer so helpfully organized for her, and she's doing well. Thank you.
to remind you of your magnificence, to help you to wake to all the wonder that you are. I long to show you all the joy you're worthy of. I'm here to remind you how much you're truly loved. You're here to remind me of my magnificence, to help me to wake to all the wonder that I am. You long to show me all the joy I'm worthy of. You're here to remind me how much I'm truly loved. God's here to remind us of our magnificence, to help us to wake to all the wonder that we are. God longs to show us all the joy we're worthy of. God's here to remind us how much we're truly loved. We are here to celebrate who we truly are. And who we truly are spiritual beings having a human experience. That means we are blessed with God inside us, with the guidance and the love and the support, and also have this human body where we can get in our cars and go where we want to go and travel and just all kinds of things because we have this wonderful body. We are truly blessed. Let us live our lives from the knowing of how blessed we are. Let us walk that walk where we know that we are guided, we have a trusted friend inside us, and that we are safe no matter what. Such a blessing to be here on the planet with you today, and I am so grateful, and so it is. And the reading today comes from the textbook. You've seen Bonnie's with the gold pages. This is mine. It's not nearly as cute, but it gets me around. But it's starting to break apart, just like hers did. So this is from The Science of Mind under Physical Perfection, page 235. And this is in quotes, so it's kind of like a meditation he's giving us. So if you want to just relax and hear this inside. The depression, the misunderstanding, the maladjustment, the frustration, which may have taken place in my life, is now eradicated. God is the one causation back of all manifestation, and there could not be cause for a development of any kind contrary or superfluous to the divine order. Therefore, there cannot remain within my body anything which does not express perfection. God life in and through me forever cleanses, heals, and renews every organ and every atom in my body after the pattern of perfection. Close quote. Now Ernest is just writing. False mental causes, I love this, false mental causes are removed by a freshness of thought. Think of the breeze outside. Don't you love that? It's just blowing through your brain right now. Sustained by an affirmative outlook of faith and trust in the perfection of life.
The only accretion which takes place in the body is that produced by the activity of perfect principle, and what the body cannot use is passed freely on. And so it is.
Well, we have a new guest musician today. Her name is Monica Gomez, and she's a singer-songwriter and many other gifts and talents, I'm sure, as well. So give her a warm welcome.
I can already tell I'm among my people by the wacky sense of humor and a few other commonalities. I was advised by Yvette, who is not here today, that the theme was love. The theme for the service is love. And I thought, well, I've written songs about love, but none of them have the word love in them. And so I thought, well, I'll just write a song with the word love in it. So that's what I did. Love is like a climbing vine that wraps around your soul, holding you together, keeping your heart whole. It sends out little tendrils, turns strangers into friends, who laugh and cry together, and on whom you can depend. So let that vine inside you grow, strong and without fear, until the love is flowing from your mouth and eyes and ears. Let it wrap around your heart, fill your belly and your bones. You'll be so full of love, you'll never feel alone. Sometimes love surprises us by bursting into flower, fills us to overflowing with its special power. And even if bright blooms fade and fall away, we know though time moves on, love's memory will stay. So let that vine inside you grow, strong and without fear, until the love is flowing from your mouth and eyes and ears. Let it wrap around your heart, fill your belly and your bones, and you'll be so full of love. You'll be so full of love. You'll never feel alone.
Thank you, Monica. Wow. So just give her a word and she creates a beautiful song. I love it. Thank you. I admire musicians who can do that. So thank you so much. Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Reverend Bonnie, the community spiritual leader, for those of you who don't know that. And it is always my pleasure to be here. So today, yes, we are wrapping up the topic of On the Wings of Love. And for once, I get to wrap up the month instead of start it off. So this has been kind of fun. I've spent the whole month watching and listening to what everybody else has to say. And I certainly hope that you all have felt the love throughout the month. I hope you've considered how it works in your life. I hope you've deepened in your understanding of how it shows up. And we've often said, through the other people that have spoken this month, that the type of love that we've been talking about has a capital L. It's a synonym for God. It's bigger than just romance. It can include romance, but it's bigger than that. It's what we might call, and as Greg Bear calls, unconditional love in his book, Real Love. I didn't have time to get into this, but it's a great book. And it spoke to me a lot back in the day, and I still find a lot from what he has to say. Real love being, how do we learn how to express that unconditional love? And then I wanted to read again a quote that I've shared with you before, but I think it's worth sharing again. This is from See No Stranger by Valerie Carr. Love is more than a feeling. Love is a form of sweet labor, fierce, bloody, imperfect, and life-giving. A choice we make over and over again. If love is sweet labor, love can be taught, modeled, and practiced. This labor engages all our emotions. Joy is the gift of love. Grief is the price of love. Anger protects that which is loved. And when we think we have reached our limit, wonder is the act that returns us to love. And I just love that quote. I like her writing and what she has to say. So thinking about this idea of love, the bigger idea of love, one of the things that Reverend Kamatara said was a new concept for me. She mentioned a near enemy, a Buddhist idea that she defined as something that looks like a God quality but isn't quite. So that was new. That was something I hadn't heard before, and she talked about what is the near enemy of love. So, of course, you know me, I had to Google near enemy and find out what it said online. And it says, a subtle counterfeit of a positive quality that, upon closer inspection, undermines the desired state of mind. And then it said, a far enemy is the direct opposite of that. So the far enemy of love would be the direct opposite. The near enemy, as she told us, could be things like attachment or conditional love. And so as I thought about that, and I thought about what I'd learned years ago from Greg Bear, I realized that this idea of a near enemy to love actually resonated with me. The word enemy was a little bit shocking at first, but it resonated because I think sometimes I have settled for that, and sometimes I have given that in my life, instead of actually being able to receive and give unconditional love. And my quest and my intention and my journey has always been toward real love. That's what I want to experience, both directions. And so I believe that within us, Spirit moves us constantly toward real love, toward that unconditional love. We just have to continue to open to that and to allow it. And this month, since I've had to have less time here in the office, I've had more time at home, and as you heard last week, I cleared out lots and lots of books. I have bookshelves from floor to the ceiling, several of them in my house that I now have space in, and I took those all down to Coaz. And while I was going through all these books, I found lots of them that I had intended to read, so they're on their own shelf. I found several that I started and I still need to finish, and they're on their own shelf. Yeah. And I also found this little gem. It's called Internal Affairs, a journal-keeping workbook for self-intimacy by Kay Lee Hagan. This is signed by her. I got it in August of 1988. And this is a book to encourage you to get to know yourself better. It talks about self-intimacy, and I want to describe what that means to her. She says, self-intimacy is the condition of knowing and being known at the level of our essential selves. It offers the possibility for connection with one another and with ourselves. Without intimacy, we remain isolated, shut down, numb, and estranged from life. Knowing the self, gently and respectfully learning who we are, what we want, how we feel, and what we think, allows us to bring the knowledge and experience of love intimacy to our relationships with others. In our self-intimacy, we have the opportunity to create the kind of relationship we most desire. We can treat ourselves the way we want to be treated. And then she asked the question, do you know how this would be in your relationship with yourself? She has more in here. She has different thoughts, questions that you can answer. And then she wraps up this paragraph with, how we treat ourselves affects everything else we do. Now that struck me when I read it. I've read it before, but I read it again. Because I've often heard, how we treat ourselves, we're training other people to treat us the same way. And I've always sort of seen how if I have enough self-love, then people will know how to love me too. All that stuff. I've heard that. But this idea that how I treat myself also affects everything else I do, wow. Let that sink in for a minute. So she has lots of questions in here that are to inspire you to journal the answers to and use that tool as a way to get to know yourself. And one of the questions that she has is, what event has caused the most dramatic change in your life and why? So what I decided to do was to go through the book as I was reading it, answer the questions from today, and then read what I wrote from back in 1988, just to kind of see and compare. Well, the good news for me was I saw some significant changes that I would consider growth and positive evolution, and that felt good. And then there were some answers that were exactly the same. Almost word for word. I was like, wow. Okay, that hasn't changed any in 37 years since I started this. So that question especially, what event has caused the most dramatic change in your life? That one hugely changed, like that word hugely. I looked back and I realized, first of all, I was filling this out before I even knew I was going to be able to adopt my son, much less raise him and then experience his death. So those changes weren't even on the radar screen when I was writing down the most dramatic changes that had occurred in my life at that time. And what that showed me when I sat there and read what I thought at that time were the most dramatic changes and thought about what I had written for now, is that those things that seem big and dramatic, as time evolves, they kind of just sort of melt into the fabric of our lives. They were things that now were just kind of, oh yeah, well that's just the way I am. It wasn't like it was this huge change anymore. And that phrase that we often hear, this too shall pass, started to make a little more sense. Because I realized, wow, these things were big back then and I barely even think about them today. And the time has helped that to evolve. Another question or idea that she had for journaling came along the line. She said it's important to record, and she thought it was important to name the internal voices that we had going on inside of us. So if you've taken any classes or worked with a practitioner, we often call those internal voices old beliefs or beliefs that are no longer serving us. And we work to change those, so we know the adage, change your thinking, change your life. We work to change those old beliefs, those voices that used to chatter at us, to hear something different and to see different results in our life. She chose to name them, and so just two of the ones she named were Miss Never Enough and Cool Hand Luke. Cool Hand Luke is the one that causes her to keep her emotions in check instead of letting herself express them. So she suggests naming those different voices and then listening to them and trying to figure out which voices are vying for your attention right now. And that's where I am happy to say a lot of those old voices that used to be just hammering at me are silent. They're gone. They're not there anymore. In fact, it was interesting. The loudest voice tended to be what I consider my own. And that was really a surprise to see that I've moved into a place where I've stopped a lot of that old chatter that wasn't serving me. And I credit this teaching with helping me to be able to do that, to getting rid of some of that old stuff that wasn't serving me. And so it did show me how changing my thinking has actually changed my life, because I do believe that the self-love that I have wanted to be able to experience has gone up. It's maybe not 100%, because like I said, some of those old thoughts were persistent. I had some answers that were still quite the same. But I also saw these changes. I saw that I'm no longer listening to some of that old critical stuff that I grew up with. So I think self-love is also key to changing our thinking so that we can actually take the action that will change our life. Because it's not as easy as, I'm just going to think something different. We have to really internalize that and shift our behaviors as well, and that helps us to change what we experience in our life. And that takes a lot of willingness and work. So, of course, one of the biggest and most dramatic changes, like I mentioned, was the loss of my son. And prior to 2020, when that happened, I had never experienced grief like that. I had never really experienced a major loss other than my mother, which I thought was bad enough, and this was way even beyond that. And between 2020 and 2021, as you all know, I lost my dog, my son, several dear friends, my mentors. We all lost a lot of them together. And so during that experience, I've become very familiar with grief. And I have also witnessed other people going through grief in ways that I never had prior to that. And one of the things that I've noticed as I've sat with people in their grief and as I've looked at my own is a very significant lesson that got clearer this last week as I kind of dove into this topic. And so that led me to the title of my talk today, which I took from our treasure sale, which we say one person's trash is another person's treasure. And I had this idea of, we have these trashy experiences that we would like to get rid of, that we would like to pass along or just as soon not have in our life. And yet what I have seen is in the midst of these treasures sort of percolate to the surface at the most unexpected times. And trust me, I am not moving us toward that spiritual bypass. Oh, don't worry, there's always good, there's a silver lining. I know that doesn't work because I got to experience it. It doesn't work. But what I did see and experience and what I've witnessed as I've sat, like I said, with others, is how amazingly it seems that there are still what I would call things occurring in divine order. The flow of life in a good way is still occurring even while experiencing the grief. I could tell you numerous stories, but I'm not going to break the confidence of the people who I've sat with. But if you ask people and you sit with them and you listen, you'll probably hear how it is that some of the death of these cherished people brings about a state where all of a sudden it feels like things are actually in divine order. And I kept thinking it the first time it happened, how can it be divine order that this person is gone? But things kept evolving in divine order despite the fact that they were gone. So it's made me think about the fact that we often label loss or death as bad. It's not a fun experience. And I'm kind of tongue-in-cheek saying it's a trashy experience for the sake of the talk title. And when somebody is younger and they pass, we often say it's an untimely death. And for those of us who sadly have experienced the loss of a child, the only term that I have found that people kind of give to that experience is an out-of-order death. And those terms give the connotation that something's wrong, that it's not right that this has happened. And yet, as much as I hate to admit it, even in the midst of these wrong experiences, I've seen things flow in an amazing way that all I can do is call it divine order. It's coincidences, serendipities, things just continue to flow. And so I started thinking about it. Well, what exactly is going on? And having been a religion major, one of the main arguments that I've seen throughout the years, the age-old argument, is life predestined, predetermined by God, or do we have free will and choice? And I know that Ernest Holmes talked about divine order. Our reading mentioned divine order, and I have a couple more examples. And he was a strong proponent of the fact that we have choice. And so I had to kind of start looking at that. I decided to look up, well, when is he talking about divine order? And what does that mean? Because in my mind, I thought, well, if I let things fall into divine order, that means the divine will put order into my life. I think that was something sort of subconscious there. And I realized, well, wait, let me just read you this first. This is from Ernest Holmes, the Science of Mind text, page 248, under the heading Physical Perfection. When the body is the harmonious temple of the living God, Spirit, divine order reigns throughout. Now, since you can't see it, you don't see the subtle message that Ernest Holmes has in there. When Ernest Holmes uses phrases synonymous with God, he capitalizes them. And lots of those terms are in the Science of Mind text and his other writings. So in this sentence, living God, both those words were capitalized, Spirit was capitalized, divine order was not. And it wasn't in the reading that you did, and in one here that I'm going to share with you in just a minute. And so what I found interesting then is, wait a minute, divine order isn't a cause, it is an effect. It is the result of love, God, Spirit in our life. That was a subtle but important shift in my mind. Because, like I said, I think I'd been, in fact, as I was writing this, it was hard for me not to capitalize divine order. And I realized, no, he's not capitalizing it. That is a result. He said, there is perfect and divine order in every organ and function of the body. And again, small divine order. So, as I contemplated this, it made me think about what I was trying to turn over. Like, I wanted something to create order in my life other than me. And yet we often say what God can do for us, God does through us. And that is the divine order that we open to and allow to take place. And this is what Ernest Holmes says about choice, which is also, I think, very important. And this is under the heading Choosing Thought on page 143. We cannot live a choiceless life. Every day, every moment, every second, there is choice. If it were not so, we would not be individuals. We have the right to choose what we wish to experience. We have the right to choose the kind of companions with whom we wish to associate, to say in what city and in what type of house we would like to live. We are individuals, and the only way we can be individuals is to be spontaneous. There is no such thing as a mechanical individuality. It must have the essential elements of spontaneity. There is no spontaneity and no individuality without prerogative. There can be no choice unless there is something from which to choose. Otherwise, the ability to choose would be merely a fantasy. Therefore, there must be not only the possibility of choice, but the liability of experiencing that which is chosen. So I knew that he was a big proponent of choice. I didn't understand how divine order fell into that process. And so you know that I am a very visual person. I have these little visual things that tend to work for me. And lately I've been playing a game on my phone, and it's called Shape Escape. And it's this little box, and it'll have different shapes in it, and there are different gates around the edge, and you have to get the color of this shape through the color of the matching gate. And sometimes they're far apart, and you have to move things around. And what I realize as I play this game is the monkey mind that stops because my mind is busy. It's focused on something else, and it's like a meditation for me. It kind of calms down any chatter that I don't want to listen to in the moment. But then I realized that this was also teaching me some lessons as I really looked at what was happening while I played this game. So when the game pops up, you see colors way down here that have to get out here and all these other things in between, and some things aren't open yet, so you can't pass them and you can't move them. All these obstacles are challenges. So I'll look at it for a while, and then I realize I just have to start moving the pieces. And once I start moving the pieces, parts of it open up. Sometimes a piece will take off through a gate, and I didn't even realize it was close to the same color, and there it goes. So I realized that to just sit there and look at it isn't going to solve the puzzle. I have to start just moving things around. I might not know how I'm going to get from this one to out here, but when I start moving things, things start to open up. So that was the first thing that kind of struck me. Okay, that's part of what I've had to do even in grief, is just keep moving, putting one foot in front of the other and getting to, oh, this just shows up and that shows up. The other thing you can do in this game is you can knock off a little piece of some of the little pieces. So if it's shaped like an L, I can knock off a piece and it's straight and it might move easier. And I realized that there are certain things I've had to remove from my life in order for things to flow and move around, including some of those thoughts that I'd had way back when and those voices that were chattering at me. And so as I thought about how all this worked, I realized how it had been working also in the bigger pieces of my life, not just the little game that I was playing. And what I also know from the experience of grief is that a huge chunk of the puzzle of my life was removed. And things still flowed. As much as, again, I didn't want to admit it or see the good things, people showed up. It was just amazing how things unfolded. And what I realized is at that point, there was an opening in me to love, to receiving from people. There was an opening to get the help that I needed. And there was an opening for what I call just sitting with what is. I couldn't change that situation, so I had to just be with it. And that was also different. And so again, what I'm seeing is as we align with love, as we choose to allow love in, divine order follows. It doesn't coordinate, it doesn't make it happen, it follows. That is how we allow those treasures to rise up, even in those what I would call trashy experiences. And what happens in those experiences is that we're at choice again. We have the choice to accept the love that's being offered. Like Sharon Bray said, she wants to thank everyone for taking meals. When I met with her, she was concerned that she was getting too much. I said, Sharon, you've done so much for others. There are things that happen in our lives that open us to receive, that allow that divine order to flow to us. And we are at choice whether to receive it or not. What I noticed, life goes on. The birds keep singing. I'll go outside and, wow, why are they singing? I'm not happy, you know. The weather continues to change. Years go by. 5 years have gone by since my son passed. 5. Life keeps going. It's up to me to choose whether I'm going to accept those gifts, those treasures, and allow that love to come in. And to me, allowing those treasures to filter up, accepting them, and giving myself that opportunity for self-love takes me back to what was said in that book there. How I treat myself and what I allow for me impacts then how I treat the earth and everyone else around me. So that was eye-opening for me. I'm going to wrap this up by shifting what'll feel like big gears. I want to move to a different thought. Again, Ernest Holmes, to assert our individuality is to rise above the law of averages into that more highly specialized use of the law, which brings freedom rather than bondage, joy in the place of grief, and wholeness instead of sickness. I want to move to that experience of joy. So a few weeks ago, when I was standing there at the back, someone came by. I know who it was. I'm not calling them out. And they said to me, I haven't been laughing as much in my life. And then I opened the Science of Mind magazine for this month, and in there it said, in uncertain times, laughter is a leadership gift. And I thought, oh boy, I've been so wrapped up in trying to make it through every day of my own experience, I haven't been bringing the leadership gift of laughter into this space. And I do know how good it felt when I was able to laugh again, when I had the first opportunity to laugh in the midst of my grief. So I'm going to wrap up a little differently, and I'm going to ask Edie and Will, since you guys are good laughers, come forward. I know, she's good. And practitioners, please surround the room. We're going to do our prayer a little differently. And anyone else who wants to stand and spread out a little. You're going to need some space, or sit tall if you don't want to stand in your seat. You're going to need to move your arms, so spread out if you can. Yeah. Okay. This is called laughing yoga, but we're hoping it's going to get us laughing. So you're going to do this. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Woo! Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Woo! Now look around and make faces at each other. Smile, laugh. Woohoo! There we go. Get it going. Okay, ready? And ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho. Woo! Thank you, God, for the joy and the laughter in me. And so it is. And Edie, don't sit down. It is her 85th birthday today. So we want to wish her a happy birthday. She keeps us laughing, and she sets a beautiful example of how it is to move through life. Thank you so much. All right, you're up. Thank you.
Well, if you've ever been married or in any kind of a relationship, and certainly if you've ever raised teenagers, you've had ample opportunity to practice forgiveness. And forgiveness of perceived offenses is one of the most wonderful gifts we can give ourselves in the form of self-love, is just to let go. searching for a scrap of light. And when at last I simply pray, I hear the voice inside me say, you did your best. Give it some rest. 'Cause when you're ready to live and let live, there's nothing to forgive. There's nothing to forgive. I gave you clothes you never wore and books that went unread. What's more, remember when you didn't call and I was left to take the fall? And what about those clever lies you told while looking in my eyes? With angry coals clutched in my hand, I'd burn to make you understand. I twist the sheets into the night, searching for a scrap of light. And when at last I simply pray, I hear the voice inside me say, you did your best. Give it some rest. 'Cause when you're ready to live and let live, there's nothing to forgive. There's nothing to forgive. There's nothing to
Thank you so much. That's true. She sort of hit some of those things that can cause life to feel trashy, but we can move right on through them. Thank you so much again for coming up and joining us today. Well, now is that time when we consider giving back to the center. I just want to say that I am so grateful for the fact that this community continues to give and support not only the center and what we're doing here, but also as we reach out into the community. And this month, 10% is going to Tents for Rent, up here behind us. And Tents for Rent is a place that is through Community of Hope that provides shelter, support, and dignity to people experiencing homelessness, funded entirely by community donations. And we're honored to partner with them and contribute to Tents for Rent this month. They got 5 Sundays this month, which is exciting for them. So please, let's say our blessing together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, in me. And now we will sing, I Am So Blessed.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Well, I hope you feel as blessed by this teaching as I do, and I'm so grateful for all of you and all that flows in and through the center. I just know that this goes to support all that we do in this community, and it reaches beyond us and blesses those out in the world, and so it is. Thank you so much. And we are going to remember that our practitioners are available if you'd like a little supportive prayer with them. They're wearing the turquoise stoles. What are we closing out with, Sarah?
Go out and shine.
Go out and shine.
Woo-hoo.
Go out and shine your light. You know the time is right. You gotta go out and shine your light. Go out and shine. Go out and shine. Go out and shine your light. You know the time is right. You gotta go out and shine your light. Go out and shine. Go out and shine. Step out and take a chance. Walk the talk. Join the dance. Relax. Enjoy the ride. Let kindness be your guide. You gotta go out and shine your light. You know the time is right. You gotta go out and shine your light. Go out and shine. Go out and shine. One voice, one hand, one heart. Wanna change, make a start. We're one big family. What's good for you is good for me. Come on and go out and shine the light. You know the time is right. You gotta go out and shine your light. Go out and shine. Go out and shine. Go out and shine.
Have a wonderful week and keep laughing.